There has been an absolute tremendous amount of hype and news and buzz about Utah, especially Utah County. One of the best places in the world for startup companies, great educational opportunities, excellent health care. It's a great place to live. Demand is high, prices are going up. A lot of people are wanting to move into Utah County. But it seems like most people, when they start researching Utah County, they're drawn to the big cities, Provo, Orem, American Fork, Lehi, Eagle Mountain, and most of your research falls into those cities. There is a hidden gem called Lindon, Utah that sits right between Provo and Lehi that a lot of people overlook, but it has so many good things about it. There's also some cons that I'm going to talk about in this video, but it is a place that you will definitely want to research and think about as you're considering a move to Utah County. Hi, I'm Micah Olson. I am your Utah County YouTubing real estate agent. I make videos just like this for people just like you so that you can get to know Utah and figure out the best place for you to live. So if you're into that, like and subscribe. I'll be making a lot more videos to help you figure out the different places in Utah County. Let's jump right in with something that's kind of a con and kind of a pro of Lindon. It is the epitome of suburban living. One of the things that means is that there's not a lot going on right within the city as far as large economic centers and specialized healthcare and educational opportunities and institutions of higher learning. You have to go a little bit south or a little bit north to get those, but what that leaves is Lindon as a quiet, peaceful, low traffic, clean place to live. About 10 or 15 minutes to the south, you have some amazing higher education institutions, Utah Valley University, Brigham Young University. There's some very specialized and high-end medical care down in the Provo area. Up north, about 10 to 15 minutes to the north, you've got a brand new primary children's hospital campus that's being built. You have the tech center that everybody's talking about, Silicon Slopes, where there's so much going on, so many startups, so many big companies. That's really the next Silicon Valley. And just a couple of minutes either direction, you've got big shopping and dining and places to entertain and have some fun. So you're literally right in the middle, and yet you're in this tucked away, mature city that has big trees and open fields and hiking and biking trails. Which brings me right to one of the pros that I want to talk about, and that's the scenic beauty and the outdoor recreation. And I love to run and I love to cycle, so I want to talk just for a second about some of the things that are there. We have the Lindon Heritage Trail, which goes basically from Utah Lake. It doesn't quite make it all the way down to the lake. And then the beach trail that runs along for a couple of miles down there, all the way up to the Murdoch Trail, which runs basically from Cedar Hills up to the north, all the way down to the Provo Canyon Trail. And that trail then follows up Provo Canyon all the way up to Vivian Park. So you have miles and miles of biking and jogging and hiking and walking trails right in the heart of Lindon. They kind of all intersect right in Lindon, so it's a great place to get out and enjoy nature. I mentioned already the big, huge trees. Lindon has all kinds of mature trees, lots of parks, lots of scenic beauty. You're walking right alongside the Wasatch Mountain front, so you have these majestic mountains up to the east. Out to the west, you have Utah Lake, and you're sitting in a lot of Lindon kind of up on this hill right by the mountains, so you've got these tremendous mountains, and then you have these great lake and valley views. It's really a beautiful place and a great place to get outdoors and do things. Like a lot of the cities in Utah, of course, you're close to the mountains, you're close to the mountain trails, you're not far from Sundance, Utah for the skiing and snowboarding and winter sports, and then you're really only 10 or 15 minutes from using Utah Lake, which Lindon actually has the Lindon Marina, which is a very accessible place to launch boats and to enjoy Utah Lake as a place. As with some suburbs in Lindon, you're gonna get rush hour congestion time. There's I-15 that runs north and south all the way up to Salt Lake, all the way down to Provo, and supplies the major arterial corridor for traffic. You also have State Street that runs kind of parallel to I-15 that goes through Lindon. Other than that, those are pretty much your only commute points. So if I-15 gets backed up because of an accident or construction, everybody hops off and gets on onto State Street. And so whether you're going north or south during rush hour, if there's traffic problems, you might want to add an extra 10 or 15 minutes to your commute. But typically speaking, right inside of Lindon, if you're just getting around to different places that are there, traffic is not going to be a major issue at all. A couple other cons that you'll want to know about the area, and this applies in general to a lot of cities in Utah County. In the wintertime, we have bad air days occasionally. The EPA estimates that we have 5 to 7 unhealthy air days a year. Sometimes it seems like a lot more because it'll be kind of a cloudy, smoggy looking environment until a storm comes in and blows it out. Be prepared for that in the wintertime pretty much anywhere in Utah County, unless you get all the way down south and up on a bench somewhere. And speaking about winter, I'll hit another con. Obviously, we're up right on the side of a mountain. Lindon can get large amounts of snow in the winter. It seems like it'll come in and dump a foot of snow, and during that time, driving can be a little bit sketchy. I mean, you're up on a hill, there's hills up and hills down, and you'll want to be very careful if you're driving in a winter storm. However, the city of Lindon and the state of Utah are excellent at clearing roads and keeping them salted, and once they've had a chance to get out and work on this, your commutes and drives are generally pretty good, but there probably will be a couple of days a year where it's snowed all night, you get up in the morning for your commute, and they haven't been able to quite keep up with everything yet. So plan on some weather-related delays. Another thing that I want to talk about, just bring it up and mention, I'm going to kind of put it in a mixed category. It's kind of a con, kind of a pro, and I've already mentioned it a little bit, but I want to specifically address it. There's not a large economic center in Lindon. When you live in Lindon, you are commuting somewhere else, unless you have your own office or something and you're working from home. Lindon is not a major economic center. There is commercial and there are things that go on there, but for the most part, you're commuting south or north a little bit. One thing I love talking about in cities in Utah County when it's applicable is the community feel and the quality of life in the community. And Lindon does all kinds of things to make this a tight-knit, close community. A lot of people that I talk to, when they're saying I want to sell a home and buy something else, they almost always have a caveat. I want to stay in Lindon. So it's a very tight-knit group. It's a very friendly place. Let's talk about some of these events that they have. I can't list them all, but there are a lot, and it's a fun place. One of the things that I love is Lindon Days. It's every August that they do this, and they have everything from pickleball tournaments to horse trail rides. There's 5K runs and family fun runs. They have live concerts in the parks. They do a really fun chalk the block thing where people come and do different types of art and such around. Of course, like any, established cities in Utah, they've got to have a car show, and you get a lot of kind of cool classics that you can walk around and take a look at. They have what they call their cowgirl clinic, where they teach young girls to ride horses and things like that. They have really cool paint nights where you have painting instructors and things that you can do. They do spike ball tournaments. They drive around and have walkthroughs of historic houses in the area. They have a big movie in the park where they do the blow-up screen and you bring chairs and sit and watch. And everything like that, from fishing competitions to chess competitions. They even have a Pinewood Derby, which I haven't done since my days in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, it's just a really cool event. And they do a lot more farmers markets and junior rodeos and things like that. Which, if you've never been to a junior rodeo, I gotta tell you to go to one thing. They call it junior mutton busting. And it's the craziest thing that you've ever seen. They put these little kids that are about 3 years old on the back of a sheep and they try to hold on and it just tears around the event. It's crazy. It's a fun and enjoyable community thing. And to top it all off, last year they had a video game tournament of Super Smash Brothers and had different brackets and ages, and it was a pretty wild event. In February, they always have some type of community event. Right now, they're doing a Roaring 20s throwback is what they're preparing for, and they'll have dancing and meals and just different things like that going on. They have a Lindon Chess Club and chess tournaments that they run, so just a lot of community events. They have community cleanups and community meetings to lower crime rates and things like that. It's a very friendly place. A lot of people say family friendly. I just think it's friendly. It's a great community. So let's go in and talk about some of the community features that I always like to address. The first being schools. Lindon has great schools. On the website greatschools.org, they actually list most of the schools as 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. The Utah County Academy of Science, UCAS, is actually just about 10 minutes to the south in Orem, and that's where students can actually graduate from high school with an associate's degree at Utah Valley University that transfers to any other major university. They have a charter school called the Mazer Prep Academy, which is excellent. My son-in-law actually went and attended there. Great school. I think Great Schools rates that a 9 out of 10. So lots of great secondary and elementary educational opportunities. I've already mentioned the post-secondary opportunities with Utah Valley University and Brigham Young are literally 15 minutes to the south. Crime rates are extremely low in the Lindon area. The national average of violent crime rates, you've heard me say this on other city reviews, national average is 4 out of 1,000. Lindon is actually 0.77 out of 1,000. I mean, a good rating really is anything even under 2 is half the national average, but Lindon's a 0.77. I mean, it is a peaceful and calm place. Which brings me to the next kind of pro, kind of con. I mean, obviously, hopefully you've caught the vibe that I'm giving on this video. I love Lindon. It's an excellent place to live. That raises demand, and so cost of living compared to the national average is higher than the national average. It's actually even higher a little bit than the Utah average, and that's mainly because of housing. Housing is the thing that just really pulls up the cost of living for Lindon because of the community and the environment that you're living in. But things like groceries and utilities and healthcare are all lower than the national average. And I want to take just a second. I know I've talked a lot about the beauty and the community and things like that. I want to just describe what you'll see as you're driving through Lindon. You have a lot of very nice suburban homes. The higher that you get up the mountain to the east, the larger and more expensive of homes that you get. I mean, they're building up on the bench for the view. And as you come down towards State Street and towards I-15, you have typical suburban communities, nice homes, walking trails, parks, things like that. As you get towards the center of town, there's actually some really cool equestrian properties and equestrian centers that are down there. And it's really just a feel like you don't even feel like you're close to a city anymore. I love walking and hiking and things down through that area because it's really otherworldly. You feel like you're in the middle of some little, farm town. Also right in that area, you have the Lindon Aquatic Center, which in my opinion is one of the best outdoor pools in Utah County. They have flow riders, they have all kinds of climbing like towers and slides and splash pools for the smaller kids. The Lindon Aquatic Center is really a cool place. A lot of people will have corporate parties there in the evenings. You can get an annual pass and have your kids go. And the flow riders are really inexpensive. In fact, a lot of people, if you're planning on going on a cruise or something where there's flow riders there and you want to practice, a lot of people will come and go to the Lindon Aquatic Center just to, kind of get experience with that and feel it out. And it's much less expensive than other similar places in the area. And that brings me to kind of another con. There's not a lot of nightlife, in Lindon, Utah. In fact, I don't know of anything you would do in Lindon, Utah. I guess go for a walk in the evening in the summer. I mean, there's not big movie theaters. There's certainly not nightclubs or bars or things like that. You're going to be heading, depending on the type of nightlife you're looking for, you're heading probably down south for movie theaters. You could go up to American Fork. Any type of nightlife type things, you're going to be heading maybe 30 minutes at least north up into Salt Lake County to get that kind of a thing. For some people that may be a con. For me, it's actually a pro. I like the quieter living and lifestyle. So there you go, Lindon, Utah, a great hidden gem. Anybody that's looking at Utah County, you should check this out. Come and drive the area, learn about it. It's an amazing place. And if you have any questions about Lindon or other cities in Utah, about builders or anything real estate, give me a call. My number's all down in the description. You can also book directly with me in a Calendly link. But I look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you soon.